Hi, I'm Sarah. I live in London. I've been involved since 2020, shortly after the Camp Moria fire in Lesbos.
Hi, I'm Christian and I joined Europemustact in 2020.
I'm Mariel. I've been volunteering with Europemustact for about 8 months now.
My name is Cecilia. I started volunteering with Europemustact in October 2020.
I'm part of the Raising Voices project that's about providing a platform for people on the move to share their stories and testimonies.
At that time, I joined the diversity and inclusion team and the Italian chapter, which is called Europemustact. And after a couple of months, I became part of the coordination team, where I am still collaborating actively.
In 2020, I volunteered in one of the camps on the Greek islands, and after seeing the appalling conditions in the camps, I decided to get involved and try to make a difference and put an end to the horrible situation for people on the move in the border regions across Europe. I can say that Europemustact really changed my life because in 2020 I started as a volunteer, and since last year I work for Europemustact in a full-time paid position as a network coordinator.
I'm the UK focal point for Europemustact. I wanted to find a way to help advocate for people stuck in the hotspot camps. I'm half Syrian, so refugee and asylum rights has always been very important to me. I've helped integrate some families and individuals in the UK and London, but I wanted to learn more about borders and camps and asylum rights, and Europemustact is full of a coalition of volunteers that has this knowledge, and we all learn and share from one another.
At the time, after several months of the COVID pandemic going on, connecting with so many people from all over Europe who were working together despite difficult circumstances to try and increase awareness about the human rights violations that migrant people are subjected to at our borders. It was a great experience and it brought a lot of positivity in my life.
One of the things I enjoy the most about what we do there is the day-to-day contact with the testimony givers, just the process until seeing the final result being posted in our social media.
The key moment for me in 3 years of Europemustact was the situation after the Moria fire. The situation where one of the biggest refugee camps in Europe burned down within one night. And in the next days, thousands of people across Europe went on the streets to demand change and demand the evacuation of the camps. This was a symbol for me that if we work together and if we join forces, that we are able to create change.
A memory I love is on the anniversary of the Moria fire. Volunteers from all over the UK met outside the Houses of Parliament, and we hung posters on the gates of Parliament from an organization that we support called Now You See Me Moria. And across the street was an Afghan women's hunger strike because recently the Taliban had just taken over completely. And we were basically advocating for the same thing, which is disarming the hostile environment and welcoming people stuck in the camps, welcoming people stuck in Afghanistan. We had the same message of just welcoming people and helping one another and communities joining together, and that's something I'll always remember.
Throughout these past 2 years, I have been working with Europemustact on the Greek island of Samos, and one of the best memories that I have is actually from that period of time when after we ran interviews with people who are living in a refugee camp and we wrote a report unveiling the violations they are subjected to, we were able to organize several online meetings between members of the European Parliament and people living in the camps. That was absolutely amazing to see people on the move being able to speak directly with policymakers, with those people who are taking the decisions that will impact their lives.
For the future of Europemustact, I hope that we can continue to join and to bring people together and activists and organizations across Europe to put more pressure on politicians. I have the hope that one day we are able to create a system in Europe which treats people on the move with dignity and involves their perspective. And I have to say that I do not only have hope, but I'm convinced that one day we will be successful.
My hopes for the future is that Europemustact reaches out more people and we create a greater community.
I am absolutely hopeful that Europemustact will continue to grow in terms of number of activists and organizations that will support our cause, and that we will really be able to make even a small difference for people on the move who come to Europe to seek sanctuary.
I hope for EMA's future we get more volunteers, more funding, just more of everything. And short term, I hope we get as many mayors as possible to sign up to our Seat to the City campaign. I don't have enough kind words to say about the group of people at Europemustact. Happy birthday. We're still young. We're 3 years old. This girl, Europemustact's mascot, is older. This is Ruby. She's 6 years old. And she is Europemustact's mascot. And we wish Europemustact a very happy birthday.